Okay, today's video we're talking about shopping ads, how to get, if you don't know it already, Google Shopping, particularly the better version of Google Shopping that works even better on our test, these smart shopping ads, how to replicate how well those work on your search campaign side of, there's search campaigns or shopping campaigns that you can run for your typical e-commerce business or any product business. It doesn't have to be necessarily e-commerce. How to get those, the search ads itself, the kind of ROI that your shopping gets. Naturally, if you watch my other videos, I mentioned the ROI can be similar anyway. It just takes longer typically to get search ads to work, where we're talking way longer. Like shopping can be profitable in 6 months, whereas the search ads can be like 18 months or something to get the similar results, or 2 years. This is actually going to be able to help you get results quicker. Why? Because we're going to be able to physically take the elements of what makes a shopping campaign work, which we're going to go over, and mimic those same elements or ideas on the search campaigns that you run, which search campaigns, we're talking about the text ads on top of Google, so that because they look and work more like a shopping ad, and what gets shopping ads to work, you're going to make a whole hell of a lot more money on the search ads that you're running quicker. Basically, as soon as you implement this and use the strategy and techniques I'm going to go through on how exactly to implement this. So at the end of the video, you're going to have the actual how-to be able to get those search ads to work like the shopping. I'm going to give you examples of other companies where I've already executed this strategy, what results they got, and then ways to even ratchet up the results that you're getting on top of, ultimately what these companies got, or what you typically would get, which already makes money, to make even more money, depending on how ambitious you are. You want your ads to double the ROI that you're getting now. It is possible. Just depends on how much work you want to put in. Like just pretty much everything else on this channel, as far as money-making strategy, PPC strategies go, the more work you put in to add depth to what you're doing on top of the standard and add your own spin to it, or whatever I mentioned that you do to execute those strategies, the more results ultimately are on the table to get. How far do you want to go? That's up to you. So anyway, I'm going to get into it as far as give you a quick background, then the strategy itself, results you can expect, and then wrap it up. So why do shopping ads generally work so much better than search ads for the most people? If you were wondering why, again, most people, because shopping is actually more so done for you, especially the smart shopping, they do that, but more so with the amount of time that people are willing to invest in their PPC, which is not much, shopping will generally work where search ads won't, and so they'll just do shopping. Why though the shopping ads work with less effort? Respectively, taking one step backwards, you're using the power of machine learning and Google's search algorithm, which can identify, it scans your site and figures out which keywords your ad should show up based upon historical search data and user behavior that they store, the actions of every user on Google. So when they make any future search, they already have a profile on that visitor, which ad they should show out of all the available people, that 10, 20 people in your market that could show in that particular ad spot for that particular person. They actually go way further than this. Most people don't realize. They capture all your search behavior going back months. They listen to everything you say. Don't attack me, Google. They buy data from other companies that monitor what you type to be able to, so when you're choosing to advertise on the keyword red shoes, basically what you got going for you in terms of that shopping ad, Google deciding if that ad should show up, you versus somebody else, or just in general, should it show up for red shoes, that they're taking into account how many times you've said red shoes in the past, what sites you've visited, recent searches you made, and make a cumulative decision on whether or not your shopping ad should show up for that person. And just taking every click that they gave you to identify in its results whether in the future you should show up for that keyword again based upon whether or not their decision of about whether or not you should show up for one particular search that out of all possible searches that could possibly represent finding customers for what you sell, whether it worked or not, and then using that data, if it did work, to spin off to find other very closely matched situations, keywords, but also users that have similar behavior but maybe search for a totally different keyword, to test that particular instance out of search behavior plus keyword to decide if that that particular profile, when you add those two, will work for your particular ad and product page that you have to promote. And then you get better and better results through the trial and error process that you have there. Each product that you have, by the way, on your shopping feed gets tested individually. So they're trying to find what keywords and what previous search behavior combination will work for each product that you have on your feed. And then products that don't do very good, they just don't promote them very much, or rare instances where your best-selling products, at least in terms of what sells good in that particular medium of the shopping ad space, they promote the hell out of it. So excluding that, why though, on top of everything else, gets the shopping to work better than the searching? What does it have with, because the search ads technically work very similarly in terms of the machine learning process and the algorithm that they have, as I just mentioned. And that is there's a visual, so one step backwards here. There's a price element, so there's the price of what you're going to be paying for that item shown before you even click on the ad. Therefore, you're paying for a much more qualified visitor to come to your site. Of course, your search ads can have the price on it, and that's something I use, by the way, all the time. And I've got videos about that. I would recommend you do that, especially when you could send people to a product page or even a category page where the products are pretty much similarly priced, starting at whatever. That'll get your click-through rate up about 2x from what it was without the price on the ad, just with that one thing alone. So just a quick side tip. To mimic or imitate what the shopping ads do for you, which that price is on there. People like to see the price before, they don't want to waste time clicking on things that they can't afford or basically are cheap, and therefore they wanted a quality item. So it's all about saving time. Then there's the visual element there. So they can also, going back to not wanting to waste time, they see your visual representation of what they get on the other side of the ad, and so they can save time. They'd rather click on the shopping ad because they're going to save more time potentially being able to scan quickly 8 product images of what they're judging you based upon the product image itself versus the search ads. Therefore, respectively, they kind of will gravitate, we'll just say gravitate more so to shopping ads in a lot of markets, not always, but more so. With that, the whole fact of why somebody clicks on a shopping ad versus a search ad is for them because they want to save time. And so you already know, you've already done some pre-vetting of the user while they're still on Google. So when they get to your site, they're way more qualified, just like they're now price qualified, they're now, visually qualified. So there's a visual element there that the search ads, though, specifically don't have. Then there's the combination between the two. So in other words, the whole medley there of having image and price together works better than if you just had price or you had just image. I know this because I've ran some tests using the strategy that I mentioned to you and to verify that this stuff works, which is we're going to make the the search ads have an image and have a price. And how to do that is going to be mentioned on this video. But the fact that they're together like that is particularly juicy for the user, or helpful and attractive for the user, versus if it just had the price or just had the image, to keep it short and simple here. So respectively, and if you can, it makes sense why the shopping ads too work. But in real life, you're in a store browsing around for like a clothing product, anything where it's mostly visual. You want to see what it looks like and what the price is. All the other text description, that's all even if you had that opportunity to read some text in the store, you're not going to look at it, right? What's important? So in some spaces, the text is definitely important, but there's more markets where just the image, what the product looks like and the price is more important than anything, particularly when you have those two in combination where you can see it and quickly see the price. That's what users want the most. And more so though, you're pre-qualifying the user. So it'd be like if you have your products in the store and you can only pay for the user if they saw the product and they wanted to turn it around, only then. Obviously, that's going to be a better overall opportunity than somebody who's just looking for t-shirts and you got to pay for them to get them to the store because that person may not like anything you have. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, tell you a quick story. So basically, I came across this strategy I was thinking, it was a clothing brand and the search ads don't work, very good at all in comparison to the shopping ads because it's a visual product. Like I said, in certain instances where what you sell is a more visual buy, if you want to call it that, you'll generally make more with shopping than you can with search, no matter how long you're on the search ads. And that applies to a lot of different markets out there. It's not the majority, but in quite a few, to where the shopping just is going to beat the search ads. Just that's the way it is, because it's a visual buy, and you can't replicate that with the search ads, at least the way that most people know. But you can with the strategy. I'm going to have a visual representation and the price in the search ad itself, so you can borrow what makes the shopping ads work so good for a visual product, so that you can leverage it by having two ads, one on the search campaign side spot and one on the shopping spot. So you can show up basically twice for every keyword in your market that works with this. And so I was just brainstorming. I thought, I wonder if with these new image extensions, product image, or it's just image extensions on the ads, if we can add that with the price extensions that I've been using for many years already, that just generally work really good in itself, because people like to see the price before they click. Not always. Sometimes the product's too expensive and you want to hide it. So there's never a complete right answer to anything that you can do. But the fact that when the price did make sense to show, because it's not an exorbitantly higher priced product that you have to explain first why it costs what it does. If we have the image there, yes, the image extensions work good, but the whole idea, once basically I was thinking to myself, having the image there with the image extension with the price extension, and don't muddy up the rest of your ad with a bunch of other extensions, mainly just focus on literally just focus on image and price extensions together as the only two extensions you have. Now what you have is something that ends up looking like an actual shopping ad to some degree, or as close as you possibly can get with what's possible. And so you have your text ad and then your image extension next to it on mobile. And then you have below your 4 to 6 different prices there, which you can do if it's clothing, different sizes with different prices for each size, or different colors for different price for each color. Or if you're selling like a mailbox, different colors, and then you can have basically the same price on there multiple times. But in order to kind of make the ad visually bigger, in some instances, having just one price there to make it really look like a shopping ad actually works better than having 4 there. If it's clothing, I've found having multiple for like the different sizes, is particularly, and also because the different sizes are a little bit different price, that actually work better. Just giving you a little bit of a prelude how this strategy works and the variants that you can throw in there. But just the fact that you have now the search ad, because when you're just using the image extension and just using the price extension together, now your ad looks very similar to a shopping ad, at least on mobile. On search, by the time you watch this video in 2024, this may definitely be different here, but in 2022, if you're using these image extensions, it mainly only shows up on mobile, to where you have your search ad here and then your image is here on mobile, which is still a great opportunity. And we don't have to make a mint, or we don't have to make our millions at one strategy here. I've got 100+ strategies on this channel. get what you can from mobile, free money. So you do that, and right away, your search ads should be working upwards basically of twice as good as what they would have otherwise. It depends on how far if you're going to go and do the default, which is just image extension and price extension, and that's it, again, by themselves. Or are we going to add some additional little bit of extra split testing on top of it to find the right image and the right orientation for the image, the right style of image, which I'm going to go through it at the end of the actually lay out the strategy and execution process for this. So, but before I go into the strategy itself, respectively, I tested, as I touched on this briefly before, just having the price extension, or if I didn't, I tested just having the price extension by itself and the image extension, and then combination thereof of price plus visual extension, or the image extension. So just the image extension, no other extensions by itself. I tested that for a clothing brand when I came up with this idea initially. Then I just tested price extension, no image extension, no other extensions other than the price extension, and how that worked. Then I tested the image extension and the price extension, no other extensions, and how that worked. And the combination, so we were getting about 10% more click-through rate having the image extension versus not, at least on mobile, where it counts or where it really applies. Then we got about 10% roughly thereof having just the price extension. But when you combine, there's a cumulative effect going on here to where if you do both the image extension and the price extension, as I found, you don't get just a 20% click-through rate, 10 plus 10, you get more like a 40. So it's a multiplicative effect, if you will. Why? Because it's like the sweet spot. What makes the shopping ads work? Like I said, you're replicating that with the search ad. So